Marc Bernal. Remember the name. La Masia seems to have worked a miracle again, giving Barcelona another 17-year-old prodigy who is already being called the reincarnation of Sergio Busquets. In this video, we'll tell you how young Bernal shocked Hansi Flick, how he shone in the matches against Manchester City, Real Madrid and Milan, and why he could be a solution to Barca's number 6 problem for years to come. Let's go! The position of a holding midfielder in Barcelona in recent years has been like a constant toothache that is impossible to get rid of. Every transfer window, the club planned to sign someone for this position, and constantly the desirable moves fail. This was the case with Joshua Kimmich, Martin Zubimendi, and Mikel Merino. Eventually, the Catalans' agony led to the signing of Oriol Romeo last summer. Even then, it was clear that this solution was temporary, and therefore, in the summer of 2024, Barca will have a new round of searching for a player for the affected position. Of course, the main reason for the Blaugrana's problems is the sad financial situation, and in such circumstances, the club, as always, get help from La Masia. As if out of nowhere, the Barcelona Academy has produced a new gem for the first team. Marc Bernal, whom the average football fan didn't even know existed 2 weeks ago, now looks like one to watch in the upcoming season. The 17-year-old impressed Hansi Flick during preseason preparations to the point that the club stopped thinking about looking for a defensive midfielder. In particular, the rumors about the possible transfer of N'Golo Kanté, which Mundo Deportivo wrote about, immediately disappeared. In the 4-2-3-1 formation that Flick uses, two La Masia products, Bernal and Casado, play in the center of the pitch in preseason matches. However, Casado made his debut for the first team a long time ago, was the captain of Barca Athletic, and everyone knew about him, but Bernal became a real discovery. Please like this video if you were pleasantly surprised by the game of this 17-year-old and are excited to see what will happen next. Nevertheless, the young talent really deserved his chance. Last season, Marc was a key player in Rafa Marquez's young team, which nearly won the promotion to the Segunda, the second tier of Spanish football. Bernal played most of the matches as a number 6 in the midfield 3, but he also made quite a few appearances in the box-to-box role, so any tasks in the double pivot will not be new to him. He has a total of 36 matches played, 2 goals and 6 assists. We should note a decent number of goal contributions, which is a nice bonus for a player of his position. I was a bit surprised by his profile. He's a player with very good technique. He navigates very well and is a good passer. His physique is not normal for a 17-year-old, and we are trying to perfect him. Rafa Marquez said about Marc. Speaking about the physique, the Mexican coach was referring to Bernal's size. At 17, he's 191 centimeters tall, which immediately makes him stand out on the pitch. He's already slightly taller than Busquets, with whom he's compared in Barcelona, and given the player's age, we can expect him to grow a little more. Comparisons with Busquets are not in vain. As in the case of Sergio, many had doubts whether such a large player would be able to fit into the dynamic and intelligent football. However, Marc's strengths prevailed. As usual, the football pitch settled the matter. According to StatsBomb, Bernal loses the ball an average of 0.32 times per game, which was one of the best indicators in the Spanish 3rd division where Barca Athletic played. At the same time, Marc has these remarkable numbers not just by passing the ball to the closest partner. He often makes long passes or cutting vertical passes. Bernal also has excellent control of his body, which makes him an impregnable wall for opponents. It's almost an impossible task to take the ball away from him. And what he can already do better than Busquets is shooting. I remember his shot the most. The way he kicked the ball. Since childhood, he was tall, strong, and understood the game. But it was his shots with his left that were very impressive, said coach Pau Moral, who once worked at La Masia. If you observe Marc's style of play and movements, from the outside it looks like he makes very few sprints and moves rather slowly. However, in reality, this is the result of his fantastic understanding of the game. Bernal always knows where to position himself, so there is no need for him to run a lot. Although these may change when he moves to the senior level. When a defensive midfielder walks 80% of the time when his team has the ball and doesn't miss 80% of his passes, it means he's always very well positioned and finds the best pass. That is Marc Bernal, 17 years old. Former Barca coach Jordi Font agrees. It's crazy how, after only 2 matches, the player managed to make such a statement. He made his debut for Barcelona in the match against Manchester City and impressed everyone with his composure. No panic, calm with the ball, smart passes, smart movements. Bernal's performances shocked not only Flick's coaching staff, but also Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola was captivated by the performance of Marc Bernal against Man City, so much so that he looked at his assistant, Juan Melillo, during the match with an astonished look, aware that a future star was being forged. Writes Diario AS journalist Javi Miguel. Perhaps this is the best compliment he could have received for his debut. In the game against City, Marc played 74 minutes, leaving the pitch with a score tied 2-2. As a result, the Catalans won the match in a penalty shootout. And then there was the first El Clasico in Bernal's life. Yes, this is a friendly, but the pressure is always felt in such matches. Despite the status, this game was watched by a full stadium and millions of other viewers around the world. And Marc delivered again. In this game, he had 47 out of 47 accurate passes. Yes, 100% pass accuracy in his first El Clasico at the age of 17. That's for real. In addition, Bernal showed his best in defense. We saw several spectacular tackles, smart positional play, and calmness. As for watching these young men control the game with his ball in his feet, it's a pure pleasure. Some strong Busquets vibes here. Barcelona won this match with a score of 2-1, but the Catalans conceded when Marc was not on the field already. In the game against Milan, Bernal was subbed on after the break when the team was losing 1-2. As a result, the Catalans managed to equalize and Marc took part in the scoring attack. The young man was also entrusted with a penalty kick, which he calmly converted. In general, his appearance brought the Blaugrana better control in the center, which has already become Marc's trademark. The young midfielder deservedly received a lot of good feedback about his game, but the actions of the management speak volumes about Bernal's prospects. Barca, having seen Marc's performances in the matches against City and Real, let Oriol Romeu go without signing a replacement. The message not only for Bernal, but also for Casado is clear. Flick will rely on young talents in the new season. This is also confirmed by Javi Miguel, who writes that the holding midfielder has convinced Hansi and is part of his plan for the new season. I'm very grateful for the work being done at La Masia. I've seen a lot of quality and intensity. Flick praised the academy's efforts. It's worth praising Barca's management for taking care of the extension of Marc's contract in advance. At the end of July, he extended his deal until 2026. Obviously, they had long seen potential in Marc, and before the preseason tour, they shut down the possibility of other clubs intercepting the player. By the way, there were plenty of takers. Arsenal and Manchester United were known to want to see the 17-year-old in their ranks. However, now there is no chance for this. Marc will be greatly helped in his transition to senior football by the presence of his classmates in the team. Actor Fort, Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí are all Bernal's peers who are already integrated into the first team and who will help their friend. Of course, Marc already has great chemistry with his namesake Casado. This is also a positive. Last season in the reserve team allowed us to have the kind of interaction we have now, and we can show it in the first team. Dear friends, share your impressions of 17-year-old Marc's game in El Clasico and write whether you believe that this boy will become an important player for Flick's Barcelona in the new season. Watch our videos and stay in touch. Bye-bye!